Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and God's blessings be with you all. Appreciate you joining me here today. This is my 9th installment, I think. Maybe eventually I'll stop counting these, but I leave the number on them. I appreciate you being here with me today. Once again, I must ask you, if this is your first video ever, that you've ever seen of me, please be sure to go back to the first video, number 1, and watch them in order, just for the sake of the fact that you'll be able to be more in line of where we are now. But honestly, this video could very well stand alone, because this is a very important topic, and it's near and dear to my heart, as well as, of course, it being important to the ummah as well. Ummah being our community as a whole, which when I think of ummah, I think of all of the people of the book. Not just Muslims, but also Christians and Jews and Sabians, not sure how to pronounce that, but all believers, all who believe in God and who believe in the last day, because we are all of the same ummah in that fact. We all worship the same God. So, this is, of course, here in the U.S., we're celebrating Black History Month, and I don't want to take away from that at all. It is important, although I do kind of feel more along the lines of what when Morgan Freeman was on 60 Minutes, and he said that we don't need a month to celebrate Black history in America, because American history is Black history. Black history is American history. We are part of its blood. We don't need a special day or a special month. We should be remembered all times. I honestly think that these days and these months, these were invented by a bunch of rich white cronies, and for the simple purpose of making display. Say, oh, we acknowledge, here's this special holiday, so now we can pat ourselves, they can pat themselves on the back, I'm not one of them, and say, oh yeah, I did something good. See, now all of these atrocious things that I do the rest of the year are okay, because now I've absolved myself of them by showing a bunch of crock. Okay, we see right through that. Now, astaghfirullah. Lord, forgive me for having any kind of negative thought. It's tough. But, Islam is the one religion on this planet that literally erases racism, if it's practiced correctly. Okay? We as Muslims, the Quran is the absolute word of truth on this planet. No question. Irrefutable. No question. No human being in the history of creation has ever been able to reproduce anything like it. And that itself is its own miracle. And scientists have even studied it and confirmed the same. There's like this, even atheist scientists have studied the Quran and come back and said, this is impossible. No human being could have done this. And have become Muslim as a result of that. Alhamdulillah. Because they realized this couldn't have come from a human brain. Not possible. There are things in the Quran which no human being could have possibly known. It explains in detail the creation and beginning and development of the human embryo in a womb over 1,000 years before the first microscope was even invented. Do you understand that? Do you understand how impossible that is? It describes in detail our solar system over 1,000 years before the first telescope was even invented. How did they know these things? Because it came from God, and God knows His creation, so He's telling them this is what it is. Okay? So let's get to my context now. Because we know the Quran is the absolute word of truth, irrefutable, and the Quran says very plainly, we were created by a single set of parents. Let's repeat that again. The entire human race originated from one man and from one woman. Not from two men. Not from two women. One man, one woman. Period. Done. Case closed. Okay? We are all of one blood. This is a simple fact. In fact, in Surah, or what we call a chapter, so Surah 49, Al-Hujurat, verse 13, right? O humankind, surely we have created you from a single pair, a male and a female, and made you into tribes and families, so you may know one another. We are all one. Now, my sister Maya, I love you with all my heart. I am very proud of all you've accomplished in your life so far, and all my prayers that you continue to work hard, as well as my baby brother Suleiman, and I love with all my heart. And I'm sorry I live several hundred miles away. Inshallah, maybe Allah will open the way. I make dua, please, that one day I can return to the old neighborhood, to my old home, to be with you again. Inshallah. May Allah help me find the way, the means to do so. So anyways, let's get on course. I'm sorry. Again, so we are all one blood. And Samaya, who's studying to be a nurse, confirmed. I said, if somebody's in dire need of blood, right? You're in dire need of blood. Some neo-Nazi, white power guy is lying in a deathbed dying of blood. Is the blood labeled white Nazi blood and Nigerian blood and Chinese blood and Indian blood? And she's like, nope. A positive, B positive, AB, RH negative. That's how the blood's labeled. Okay? There is no such thing as color. No such thing as race or ethnicity when it comes to biology. When it comes to blood. Okay? It's blood. Period. Done. If you're dying and you need a kidney, it's not like, you're a white man or you're a black man. Sorry, this kidney won't work for you. This is a Pacific Islander kidney. No. Tissue rejection doesn't work that way. Has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with culture, has nothing to do with ethnicity. These are all in here. All human inventions. Okay? We are all one. We are all one. And you know who really validated that truth was Brother Malik Al-Shabazz. May God's peace be with him. The world originally knew him as Malcolm X. Now, when he was a minister, a Christian minister, and then he moved on to become part of the Nation of Islam, he was very, very militant. And I mean, I don't blame him for being upset about how blacks were treated in America, because blacks were treated like shit in this country, and we all know it. And especially those filthy white cronies that I'm talking to right now, and you know exactly who you are. Okay? You Jim Crow douchebags. Oops, sorry. JazakAllah, I shouldn't have said that word. Hopefully the video doesn't get banned. Beep! But seriously. It's just atrocious. So, and I get that. I am not to blame for what they have done, because it had nothing to do with me. And you need to understand that. Okay, you can't blame this generation for the sins of our fathers. You can't do that, because, and even the Quran forbids such a thing. No one, no man, no woman can carry another's burdens. Okay? This is why original sin, again, this is why original sin is a lie. Never happened. God forgave Adam and Eve. That's a fact. Why did he forgive them? Because he always intended for them to eat from that tree in the first place. He knew that they were going to commit that sin before they were even born. He knew that. And Adam ﷺ asked God, subhanahu wa ta'ala, asked him, he said, you knew I was going to eat from that tree when you told me not to, didn't you? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala admitted, he said, yes, I did. And that's when he asked you, well then, can you forgive me? And he said, yes, I will forgive you. Okay? There is no original sin. Never happened. That is a Christian lie. Created to confuse and to create guilt and to make you feel powerless so that you need the clergy and need their absolution, from them, which you do not. Okay? But there's a lot more to that. If you've seen my other videos, you already know that we do not believe that Isa, which is Jesus, was even crucified. In fact, the Gospel of Barnabas says that it was actually Judas who was crucified. That the Romans mistook him for Jesus and crucified him, and that was because Allah ﷺ cursed Judas for his attempts on Jesus' life. But again, you'll have to see my previous video to get to that. But to get back to the subject, Black history, it is important, but it shouldn't be considered like something we only celebrate for a day, or celebrate for a week, or celebrate for a month. It should be something we celebrate in our hearts 24/7, because we are all of one blood. We are black, we are white, we are Chinese, we are Asian, we're everything, all in one. We're everything, all at one, okay? We are all one. We're one ummah. And this is something that Malik Al-Shabazz noticed. So when Malcolm X went on the pilgrimage to Hajj, it changed him. In a fundamental way, it changed him. Because he was accepted as a brother from people of every other race, ethnicity, culture. And in fact, I say race, and I really shouldn't say it, because there's only one human race. And we're all part of it. And when he came back, his heart was changed forever. And he started preaching tolerance. He started preaching equality. And this is one of the reasons why he was killed. Because people that take power from dividing people were threatened by this message of unity and equality. But this is the truth. We are all one in the end. And we know for sure that in Jannah, we will all speak one language. We won't have 150 different cultures and ethnicities. We will all be one. Because that's what we are. Our ruh, our spirits, were all created all at the same time. All came from Adam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala literally pulled them right out of Adam's back. All of our souls were born on that time. And that's who we really are. This isn't us. This isn't us. You know what this is? This body that we're in? This is a leased vehicle. It's not us. And in fact, on the Day of Atonement, our own physical bodies will speak about what we did with them as a separate entity, completely separate from us. Okay? This is one of the reasons why you should dhikr using your fingers and not beads. You know why? Because on the Day of Atonement, your fingers are going to testify and say that we observed the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with them. That is going to be beneficial to us. So if you do good things to your own body, your body is going to testify. Just like if you do bad things to your body, you stab it, you cut it, you ink it, you tattoo it, you punish it, your body's going to have those things to say too. And then you will be asked why you did this, why you did that. Think about that. Well, do you really want to answer those questions? oh, I did this because I was selfish. Oh, I did this because I got I was bored. So I honestly don't want to answer those questions because I've got no good excuses for them, answers for them. So I would rather, granted, I'm not, I'm not a swimsuit model or anything like that, but, I don't abuse myself in any way. So, yeah. So we'll be given new bodies after that, inshallah. And they'll, inshallah, be better in some ways, because they say in Jannah there is no impurities. So that's a blessing beyond all imagination. But when it comes to Black history, Malik Al-Shabazz, and I'm going to leave a link, just like I always do in the comments, where you can listen to his letter from the Hajj, because it's beautiful. Every time I hear it, it just hits me in the feels. I would so love to know someone like him. I feel that he would be such a great mentor. But we can learn from what he's left behind, his legacy. Another great man is Bilal. Bilal is the first of the muezzin. He was the first to make the call to prayer. He was chosen by our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And there's a lot about that in a film called The Message, and it was a 1976 film filmed by the Syrian Muslim Mustafa Akkad, and this film was actually what's the word I'm looking for? It was certified, I guess, by the Holy Council as being authentic, as being good. It was historically accurate, and it was accepted in such a way that it wasn't being disrespectful in any regards, because the film, even though it's about the life of the Prophet Muhammad and the beginning of Islam, it does not show Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because that would be insulting to our Prophet. That was one of the things that we were commanded, is never to depict him or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so it's filmed in such a way where, you don't ever get to see him, but you see his companions, the actors that portray them, including Bilal. Bilal, the actor that played him, was Johnny Seka, I believe. He was originally from Senegal, which is a country in West Africa. So, awesome performance by him. Really, really powerful performance. Especially, when Prophet Muhammad, when they're trying to figure out how do we make people do the call to prayer? And they're like, thinking of, like, I don't know, should we blow a horn like the Jews, or should we beat a drum? And then someone said, hey, what about a human voice? And then they're like, well, okay, so who's going to be the first? And that's when Prophet ﷺ said Bilal, because he had such a beautiful voice. And of course he was like, me? You're going to put me in the spotlight? And they're like, yeah, get up there. And he did. And it was beautiful. And everybody that heard him was captivated by it. It like, stop what you're doing. Stop and listen. And which is the whole point. That's the beauty of it. And so these are things to remember and things to be proud of. But overall, the message I want to bring out is that, in Islam, we are all of one blood. And the idea of racial purity or ethnic purity is a complete human lie. Probably, promoted by Shaitan. Why not? His goal, of course, is to see us all in hell. So, this is another reason. Racism is evil. Its origin is evil. And those who practice it, who observe it, are evil. You cannot be Muslim and be racist. You can't. You can't. If you're racist, you're kuffar. Period. There is no other way to look at that, because the Holy Quran says we're all one people. We're all from one people. To call somebody some kind of ethnic slur, you are violating the very principles of creation itself. Well, you're clearly not Muslim, then you're kuffar. And I mean that sincerely. Okay? We're all one blood. We're all brothers and sisters. And we all stand. Prophet ﷺ said, we are all as equal as the teeth on a comb. Okay? So, I'm going to just stop it there. I'm going to leave a couple of links. What I want to leave to you is the link to Malik Al-Shabazz's beautiful letter from the Hajj. And then I'm going to leave a link to the film, The Message, so you can watch it. Its entirety is there. It's a fantastic film. It's beautiful. I think you'll enjoy it. I know you will. I loved it myself. I've seen it several times. And it's very informative. It's a really great way to learn some things about our history because, like I said, it was studied over and over again, and it is considered by the Holy Council as being historically accurate. So it is a good learning tool as well. And I think that the people that put it together were very respectful, and they really, really wanted to make sure that they were representing, things as sincerely and honestly as they possibly could. And that was also one of the intentions of the producer and director, Mustafa Agad. This was something very near and dear to his heart, and it was very important to him. And in fact, the film was actually it got nominated for an Academy Award. So it's a great film. I think you definitely will enjoy it. So I'm going to include that in the links too, and be sure to get out the popcorn. And but honestly, all my brothers and sisters of every color, creed, and we do need to reach out across what we call the divide, because there really shouldn't be a division. We are all one. We are all one. We were all created equal. And, if you believe in God and you believe in the last day, you have more in common with us than we disagree on. In fact, if you look at our religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, we do indeed have much more in common than we disagree on. We disagree on a handful of things, but we agree on a huge stack of things. And it would be a better thing for all of us, for all of humanity, if we look and bond over what we agree on and stop fighting over what we disagree on. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to put one more link in the comments here, because something here, sorry, I'm going to put this on a little bit, just a tad bit longer. So something important here that happened here in northern Vermont not long ago was our former Imam Islam Hassan. He had a very good relationship with the rabbi who led the prayers in the synagogue right next to our masjid. Our masjid is right next to a synagogue. And they are actually colleagues of each other. They're friends. And they both respect each other. And the imam has been a guest who has been featured at the synagogue, and the rabbi has been a guest who's been featured at the masjid. So I'm going to let them speak for themselves. I'm going to share a little link. It was a news article, a news feature, a little news feature that came out a couple of years ago, and it's very inspiring, because they talk about the same thing I'm talking about unity, about how we need to come together, how we need to celebrate the things that we share in common, and embrace each other as brothers and sisters across these divides. We need to erase these divides, erase these barriers, and recognize the fact that we are united in this fight against evil. We are united against this fight against shaitan, against Satan, against the devils, against everything that they're doing to the world. We need to fight back. And we need to do it together. Together, you can't beat us. Together, we can win. Divided and separate, we will all fail. Together, we can win. And we must. We absolutely must. For the sake of humanity, for the sake of the future of humanity, the future of the planet in general, we need to come together. We need to be one ummah, one community, and fight against evil, fight against atheism, fight against oppression, fight against this satanic, just nastiness that's just pouring out, all across mainstream media these days. We need to send it right back to where it came from. So, but still, it's still important too, just to celebrate Black history, because Black history is part of Islamic history, and that does need to be acknowledged. But we shouldn't do it in such a way where we think it's separate. It's not separate. It's all one. We are one ummah. So remember that we're all brothers and sisters. So, like we all pray together side by side. We should all eat together side by side. We should all live together side by side, and we should all enjoy life together side by side. Live as we worship. That's what we need to do. We're all brothers and sisters. God's peace be with you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have an excellent day and stay safe. And thank you.